Welcome, friends and fans of Style East. We are back for even more content. This time, season 18. I haven't seen y'all since season 17. If you don't remember my voice, this is Llama. Joined alongside me is AllOutPotato for more Style Esports actions. We're in playoffs now of our Demacia division, and we're here bringing you a best of three tonight between Ice Reapers and Nine-Tailed Fox Chiefs.
Yeah, it's been a while, but it's good to be back. Hopefully, my league hasn't gotten too rusty, and I still remember what most of the champions on the roster do. But yeah, we're off into playoffs. Two teams, pretty high elo here, actually, looking to advance onwards. Loser is out, so it is a important game for both sides here.
Yeah, we can give a little bit of context to where these teams are at here in Tier 3, the Demacia division. After the first round of playoffs of the Rumble stage, Ice Reapers did get dropped by Mythic Rising. Meanwhile, Mythic Academy took down Nine-Tailed Fox Chiefs. So both of these two teams on the Rift tonight have a little bit of PTSD after losing to some Mythic squads. But here they are now in that knockout stage. And like you said, Potato, you got to show up tonight because you don't get any more second chances after already losing that game number one, or series number one, I should say, in the first round of playoffs.
Certainly, and it looks like Ice Reapers might also be a little traumatized in the ADC roles, as we have three ADC bans coming straight out of the gate in phase one. But Chiefs, I think they thought their champion was pitched enough immediately 1P the Jit.
I mean, yeah, you ban three ADs and we still will first pick a different one. I mean, that is very interesting and seems to be targeting Baba. Looks like the ADC here for Nine-Tailed Fox Chiefs. You can't quite see this on your screen, but we can definitely let you know this is the highest ranked player here in the lobby, currently sitting at Master Tier. The rest of their team, Emerald 3, Emerald 3, Emerald 2, Emerald 2. And so definitely seems to be the star performer, which is why you kind of see Ice Reapers trying to ban away a couple of those champions there. But the response is a champion that feels like it's maybe a little bit strong on the current patch. This is that reworked Skarner coming in as the response for Ice Reapers.
Yeah, and these new champions, rework champions, I always find it so interesting the kind of arc they go through. On release, I think he had something like a 36% win rate or something. And we saw similar stories, with when Ornn first came out, atrocious win rate. UV, before people figured out we weren't going to take Flash on that champion. Similar stories. But it seems like people are adjusting. I am curious where this Skarner is going, because early on we did see a lot of actual top lane Skarner with the Comet build. So maybe this is in the jungle, maybe it's in the top lane, maybe it's flexing. So we'll have to find out.
And it is a great flex too, especially when you're red side, because you don't really need to show it until the end of the draft. This is an interesting choice here. Zyra, a champion that I feel like has re-emerged a little bit in the meta, especially at the highest levels. Sometimes you see it as a counter pick. I don't necessarily love it with what's been drafted from Ice Reapers, but definitely provides some long-range mage. And that looks like it's going to be Alro piloting that champion here, probably in the support role. I feel like we never see that champion mid anymore right now in the current meta.
I feel like I haven't seen him mid in 10 seasons.
Yeah.
But I do think that Jhin Zyra is a really strong bot lane. I mean, just so much lane presence there can easily get priority. Any kind of route from Zyra easily leads into follow-up from Jhin. Don't have to think twice there. And with Zach as serving as some frontline, I think it's starting to look like a pretty well-rounded out team comp.
It absolutely is. And I'm looking back to when these teams played last week. Alro actually played a little bit more of the tank kind of supportive champions, a game of Rakan and a game of Braum. Did fall in both of those two defeats, unfortunately. But definitely a little bit of a shakeup here in this support role. This time saying we're going to give you a little bit more agency in this lane. And meanwhile, the response to that in the support role will likely be the Melio. And I think seeing Melio here as a champion is really just trying to deny some potential crowd control and also provide the range, which already Ashe really exemplifies in that ADC role.
Yeah, the Ashe rundown is scary, and it's even scarier as it gets buffed up. And looks like Ice Reaper's playing more for scaling down in the bot lane. Don't expect them really to get much lane control or lane push early on. But of course, Melio really just someone that can enable so many different types of carries, and Ashe is certainly there on that list.
Yeah, very much so. That pretty hard defensive peeling kind of champion here. What I really like to see. And as you know, we're kind of mentioning about this squad here, Ice Reapers, just to give a little bit of context. This is a team, Rorschach is their top laner, really likes the aggressive picks. And so it'd be expecting to see maybe a more aggressive pick topside after you've locked in, as you named, Potato, this really kind of supportive scaling bot lane. Seems to be where they're drafting. And I want to see if that will be the Skarner top, or if they're going to give it to Zedster, who's also very much a carry jungle or can also play setup, But really, I think Skarner can excel in either of those two roles too. And still yet to see a mid laner for aim down, the mid laner here for Ice Reaper. Typically, he's going to be your shot caller as well, but a lot of non-meta picks if he doesn't go for one of those default control mages.
Yeah, I mean, if Skarner makes its way to the mid lane, I will be highly amused, but perhaps not quite what I'm expecting here at this point. We'll see if they preserve the flex all the way till the end. Looks like, well, I'm gonna guess here is probably J4 jungle Skarner locked in for that top lane role. Zach also potentially can end up flexing both top and jungle, so we'll see what the Chiefs will lock in response to that pick.
Yeah, I mean, it could be kind of that early game pressure, right? That is where you can be successful as J4, but you have to get on the map early. But into Zach doesn't really have too many counter engage options. Looking like still going to be some solo lanes here for Ninetail Fox Chiefs. Yone actually has a choice, is really trying to play through this team fight style now, locking that in. I expect for Shanks here in the mid lane, but again, it could be a flex. It looks like maybe Poo Poo in the top lane still yet to pick their own champion. A blind Yone top would be kind of interesting here. We'll see what's going to round out the draft. I think you have lots of options, maybe something tanky to support that front line with Zach.
Yeah, all will be revealed with this last pick, and looks like it is
Oh,
Malzahar mid. Alrighty, so
a blind pick Malzahar Potato.
yeah, that's gonna be pretty interesting for sure. And one thing I'm maybe a little bit concerned about here is the J4. I feel like it's gonna get pretty high value this game with just the amount of immobile champions the Chiefs have. Maybe the follow-up is gonna be a bit more of a question. I mean, it seems like possibly the rest of the team is gonna have a bit of a harder time getting into the fray. But against champions like Jin and Zyra, and maybe even Malzahar, usually having that kind of trigger go button can be pretty valuable.
It absolutely can be. I mean, I'm kind of surprised with Ninetail Fox's last couple of picks here. Not to say that they're not meta, but they don't feel the most common. I mean, if we look at the mid lane pool, like the Talios and Hui have been banned away. It looks like even Vigar in that second half, LeBlanc too, but feels like a lot of just kind of meta was still up and available, and they chose not to go down that road, right? The Azir, the Ari, right? Champions like this that they just really don't have in their champion pools, decide not to go down that road here in game number 1.
Sure, yeah. But one thing I do like to see from both teams is it feels like both teams just have a lot of tools at their disposal. And I'm usually a big proponent of that at kind of like games that are around the amateur level, having some sort of front line, having some sort of engage, having a good mix of damage, and, CC options, pick options. And it looks like both teams do have elements of all of these components in drafts. So I think a lot of it will just come down to whoever will be the better players in this game.
Absolutely. And I'm also not seeing kind of one key standout champion here, right? Who's going to be the 1v9? Who's that late game insurance? You do have options for damage from both sides. I'm definitely looking at Baba just as a player to see if this more defensive range kind of champion like a Jin can find success here. In their last series, we played more hyper carries, played a Kaisa game and played a Jinx game. So this is going to be a different look as we're naming with the support pairing as well. But I mean, if I'm looking at any of these 10 champions, the one that I really want to see pop off for Nine-Tailed Fox is definitely this Yone. That's that player for Poo Poo in the top lane that I feel like can have the most individual impact around mid-game team fights. And it's also a champion that I think, if not ahead, can actually really struggle through the later stages of the game.
Yeah, certainly. And it is some pretty interesting solo lane picks. I mean, Yone top, Gragas mid. These are champions we don't often see that much. So, I'm perhaps not the most educated in my Yone v Skarner matchup, but I guess we'll just have to see what the players will be able to provide here.
Do you see what's been locked in here on the right-hand side for Ice Reapers?
Oh, wait. Well, you know how I said I was going to be pretty abused earlier?
You did say that.
Oh, color me abused. I'm ready to see the great. I mean, hey, we've gotten things like Nunu mid. Perhaps Skarner E is just a more modern Nunu snowball.
I mean, I don't know about you, Potato, but this is my first Skarner mid that I've seen, period. Like, I have not seen this champion played mid in any of my games, solo queue all the way up through Master and above. I mean, I was watching the running the Rift combine, and I was like casting those games all last week. Yeah, we saw some Skarners, but never in the mid lane here. Even like an Emerald Plus, a 1.2% pick rate for mid lane. It's the second lowest presence in a role beyond the ADC Skarner with 0.1%.
Well, it looks like Aim Down is gonna put on a show for us and then see whether this pick will be validated or not. I am certainly quite interested to see what it can do.
Oh, absolutely same. I mean, man, that's where I got to be keeping an eye out here now too for the red side, see what they're able to do. And this is a guy I think that was saying that he was a coach typically for a different team, and then came into play today. And it's like, all right, hey, I'll take this Carter mid here, trust. So I mean, this is elimination now. We are in the Demacia playoffs here in the knockout stage. Both of these teams on their last life, a final best of 3 separating this. But we'll have to see what happens with these bruiser boys, as we see Luckify chatting about here. I mean, well, I want to see if they're able to keep Ash safe, or if Nine-Tailed Fox with a little bit more traditional draft might find success in this first game. We're going to take a short break while we wait for the spectator delay. On the other side, it's going to be game number 1 here of the knockout stage this evening between Ice Reapers and Nine-Tailed Fox Chiefs. We will see you on the Rift in just a couple of moments.
All right, welcome back everyone to this first playoff games between the Chiefs and the Oh,
Reap.
the Ice Reapers? Is that right? Is my memory escaping me? Alright, yeah, we got the Skarnamid out here. We got the Ultimate Lace Swap Flex. We got a spicy game one. We do see the comment build from the Skarner with the tier star. So that was the build that I was seeing a little bit more in the top lane. Usually a bit more effective at bullying out those melee range top laners. But, maybe gonna provide a bit of presence here in the mid lane. Keep himself safe against Malzahar.
Yeah, and I kind of expect that to be into a I believe it's the not even shroud, but Fimbulwinter, right? Like that kind of that tanky mana item. You get an
Mhm.
even bigger shield when using it. And yeah, as you're saying, maybe it does provide that presence. The sustain isn't super inherent from Skarner. They have a pretty healthy clear, but not a whole lot of sustain. I mean, aim down, when we're getting a lowdown actually from the coach on aim down, they were talking about that this guy likes to play some uncharacteristic picks in the mid lane. I mean, if this is your main shot caller mid and late game and you're putting him on a champion like Skarner mid, you kind of expect them to show up here. Otherwise, you're like, dude, you don't get to be a shot caller for a team if you're going to be locking in some little psycho bico stuff. But I'll be curious to see what that looks like for this lane. And so far, trading pretty successfully here into the mid lane matchup.
Yeah, I mean, that W range is deceptively long, so certainly gonna, if that ends up proccing, the comment gonna break the mouse heart shield very easily, so it seems like it's getting pretty good value. You're talking about Fimbulwinter. I think that's just such a high value item for Skarner because he has so many different ways to proc it. It procs on any CC or slow, and that's built into pretty much every single ability in his kit, actually. So absolutely could just start spamming out those shields once things get going.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that I think that is like going to be one of the core items as well. And I think it, because Skarner's designed kind of mainly as a jungler, might have a little bit of mana issues in the early game as well. And so, yeah, you're going to be lacking a little bit of damage, but Skarner gets most of their damage from health stacking anyways, right? So I don't think like an early Ruby Crystal or a couple hundred gold is going to look for like very much. Zedster, the first gank mid.
Yeah, and Shanks immediately smashes into the wall, but a good counter gank from Labanane is going to force the flash from Zedster. It is both flashes expended on the side of the Chiefs, for only the jungler on the side of the Ice Reapers. But seems like a pretty successful early game. I'm just gonna go back to sequencing scams.
I honestly really like that gank kind of path there. Like I was worried that aim down was not going to find much success here, but really impressive. I do want to call out Zedster there with the 16 camp gank timer. Not as common as some other gank timers. We're talking about a 3 camp or a full clear. Got to hold that for a moment in the bot lane. There's a skirmish.
Yeah, Auro getting run down by the Ashe here. The approach velocity, something that's very potent. But Labanana, they're on the backside, potentially ready to re-engage should they chase too far. Looks like that's not going to end up happening, though. Oh, here we go. Mega Bro actually using a bit of early flash there. Maybe seeing some ghosts, being a little bit scared. Perhaps got some nerves to shake off, but still, going to be a 1-for-0 pickup in that bot lane. They're still going to be happy with it.
Don't feel too bad saying this. So Mega Bro actually, as we're talking about kind of the roster, we did get some intel on this squad. Mega Bro's been playing in Style Esports since literally season 1. As a reminder, we are season 18 right now. So this guy has been around the scene for a while here in Style. So maybe a little bit of boomer heads there with the double summoner spell burned early. And got to give respect to this guy who's literally been here since the beginning here in Style. So big shout out to have a guy playing in the scene for that long.
Yeah, that's something I can certainly identify with. And a big shout out to Zedster there getting off another successful gank as Zach down here in the bottom lane once again trying to find something. CC going on to different targets there. So looks like
the four
both
shot
may be living, but no, yeah, Flash fourth shot is going to pick it up. Baba there taking that first pick, getting their first kill.
Yeah, Baba Black Sheep looking for more kills in the top lane now, but won't find anything else.
Yeah, Yone's Soul Unbound gonna expire there. Gonna be happy with that reset on the Gragas wave's gonna be coming back to him. So far early game looking pretty solid here for the Ice Reapers.
I would agree with you here, Potato. I think it is an early game that they can be happy with. However, I do want to call out just the great ADC play there from Baba. Yes, you had to expend the flash to get the kill, but you did deny an entire wave. And even at 5 minutes into this first game, Baba at a commanding CS lead, 35-25 might not seem like too much, but we're talking percentage-wise, pretty significant, right? So the fact that you're able to get basically a wave and a half advantage with only like a total of 6 waves on the map Like, that's pretty significant here, especially when you're considering the fact that all summoner spells are down and their support died pretty early. They want Shanks now.
Yeah, they do, but it is a pretty committed tower dive there. Shank's getting taken very low though, so maybe we'll have to take that base back home afterwards. But yeah, you're right. I mean, on the plus side too, they did have the Zac come for about 2 or 3 different visits down there during that session, so perhaps not too surprising that Ash ended up dropping a couple waves, but certainly going to be very happy with those Swifties. A big pickup on Jin, core to getting more of those 4 shots off in lane.
Aim down dive angle here. I would love to see what aim down can do under this tower with a crashing wave, but now Shanks is level 6, so you probably can't. I wanted to see if he could get the wave in fast enough before the level 6 timer came through, but it will just give mid a free timer for the dragon, and a first dragon at 6 minutes also is nothing to be too upset about.
Yeah, the Zac covering mid could have ended up being a bit of a disaster there should it have been taken, but fortunately, just going to secure that first objective, get the Cloud on the map, Ocean the next one to spawn. We'll have to see which of the souls it'll be this game.
Where are you placing your bets right now? That'd be another poll we should get going in the chat here. But so first is a Cloud, second is gonna be a Ocean. Okay, so you got a 1 in 3 shot.
I'll give my vote to Kimtech because I enjoy the plants that come out on them.
Yeah, I agree.
We're
I think
still
it's the
most
best
fun
map.
map. I don't know what to
No,
say.
definitely most fun map. However, if we think about actual use, the other two are way more game defining. Infernal and Hextech can absolutely change a game. But you're right that Chemtech is a heck of a lot more fun.
Yeah, and looks like Rorschach actually doing a bit of bullying there. Ooh, forcing out the flash as well as the ultimate there from Popo. Gonna have to walk back, no teleport. So wave state a bit rough, but still from the Gragas.
And it does feel like that's been the case from at least the bot side here of this Ice Reapers squad. I think you called out that they had a successful early game so far, and I'd echo that statement. Bot lane seems to be the pain point right now for this Ice Reaper squad. Nine-tailed Fox Chiefs seems to be getting a nice advantage here, at least in that solo matchup. But I would agree that I feel like lane states have been slightly favoring this top side here of Ice Reapers. Something to name as well is even at this 8-minute mark, neither team opting to go for the grubs, but Aimdown and Zedster seem to have their own eyes on it now. We'll see if they have enough jungle information to start that up, even with Gragas out of base. And with pings on it, I do expect it to be going down uncontested.
Yeah, that's certainly true. Hawkshot going up to just spy the map. They know that the top side camps are available and uncleared. We'll see. Zac will be spotted here on this ping, so grubs will be uncontested for the moment, but we do have Yone walking down. The wave was shoved in, so unbound used already, so maybe just going to be picked up without a contest here. We do have Zac continuing to hover. Maybe there'll be a little bit of action in the bot lane, but seems like they've got it sufficiently warded out. Likely will be safe enough.
Yeah, it looks like that was Poo-Poo's contest there in the top side, right? Was just like, hey, what's going on over here? All right, goodbye.
Walk up, take a peek. All right, you know, you can.
I don't really want to do anything over here anyways. Yeah. That was about as much contest as it was. Another 1v1 here topside. Explosive Cask is up before the Unsealed Fate is.
Yeah,
or Fate Sealed. Unsealed Fate would be even funnier though.
Yeah, getting off a lot of autos there, but Gragas, tanky boy, working its way towards maybe some manner of catalyst item would be my guess. And this Skarner also, pretty stable here in the mid lane. Was up with a bit of a CS advantage earlier, but still staying pretty even here, and not much problem into the trade. Does start off the dive. Gen OT canceled immediately. The route is going to be dodged, and the arrow is going to land onto Baba. Can't he find the finish there? Zac forced to flash out, still surviving. There is the Milia with a couple of HP. Aim down, trying to find the finish on the Zac blobs. Will end up getting it. Does get rooted up by Baba, getting perilously low. But it seems like both sides are running out of damage and running out of chase. But not bad there. I think a 1-for-1 on that tower dive.
I think 1-for-2 actually, because both Banan and Alro did fall in that exchange. So the first 2 kills on the map actually. Wait.
Yeah, that does sound right. So
I think it must have got you
really nice thing. It looks like Zed's looking for another one. Popo gonna be using the ult again. The tower aggro has been reset there, and an easy dunk down is gonna pick up the top lane. So looks like all of these jungle plays so far going the way of the Ice Reapers here.
And what is impressive to see from Ice Reapers is they haven't been relying on Zedster to make plays happen. I think a lot of the time at high elo, you need your jungler there to make any kind of play executed on. But Zedster only 2 of 5 KP so far. What that's telling to me is the rest of the map is also having positive influence in their own lanes, whether they're winning the 2v2s or they're winning the 3v2s. Even a play like aim down, moving down to the bot side there was a huge response. And it's those kind of movements that just show that as a team, you don't rely on just one player to make an early game successful. And it's great to see that they can build advantages pretty sizably. In fact, that we're at 10 minutes in, almost 11. There is almost 2,000 gold separating these two squads.
Yeah, and it does feel that the execution of these jungle plays has just been a little bit cleaner on the side of the Reapers. I mean, every time Zetsu has shown up into a lane, it feels like he's gotten some value. So time-wise, feels pretty solid there.
Yeah.
And there have been just some slight execution errors, I'd say, that I've seen in the Chiefs. Whenever Zach comes for the bot gank, for example, sometimes Zyra Root and Jin Root will go on to different targets. On that previous dive, we had Jin ulti kind of canceled right away. The Root got dodged away from. Zach had to flash out, still ended up dying. So just a few things that could have ended up going a little bit better. Shanks losing their flash to a scary Scorpion charging through the wall as well. It looks like a second dragon going to be in the sights of the Reapers.
I already like this timer as well, especially without the second grubs, meaning there's really nothing that blue team can trade for topside. This is hopefully going to be securing this second dragon, again, without too much contest. But Banan seems to be in the zip code at least, maybe looking for something. But Shanks without a flash, you're in a lot of trouble, buddy.
Yeah, and another zip code. There goes the arrow onto Shanks, and there's the double suppress. Zetster ready to maybe go over the wall. No, Mega Bro actually going to pick that one up and aimed out, holding so much space there over the wall, showing the power of the Scarter.
Yeah, aim down, more like stand down if you're the blue squad. Absolutely nothing to be done on that contest. Once again, Shanks, as you had mentioned that they burned their flash earlier, without having that available, really nothing to go to make happen there. And now Mega Bro and Toon seem to be pretty safe bot lane in a very convincing position here, and the rest of the map is yet to die. And so we talked about this bot lane for the Ice Reapers being the scaling option, and they seem to be doing just fine with that exact kind of path now. But Banan continuing to commit a lot of resources down here, might have actually been spotted. I know Zedster is for sure standing on that ward. The 3v3 might fizzle unless Zedster wants to force something.
Yeah, we'll have to see if that ends up being the case. Yeah, bot lane's staying pretty even. I mean, sure, you're at a CS deficit, but you have been getting a lot of enemy jungle attention, and just seem like the Reapers have been playing slightly more principled games there. Even there on that Dragon contest, I mean, just look at the vision in the area. It is a sea of red. There were even a few more wars a couple seconds ago that just ended up expiring, and it seemed like the Chiefs just kind of wandered in, said, let's see what's going to happen. And it looks like what happened was just a few members got caught out and taken down. So, maybe next contest will end up going a little bit better. But right now, we're looking still at around a 2,500 gold lead. Not bad for 13 minutes in.
Yeah. I mean, something else we're looking at here, too, is actually the prediction being correct for you, Potato, with that Chemtech soul here in game number 1. So I think you win the prize here. It is going to be the most exciting map, but I think the least impactful soul.
Yeah, and hey, that's good news if you are the Chiefs here. Losing out on those couple early dragons, soul win condition is just gotten weakened by a lot. It looks like here we do have several members looking for this second grub contest. Banana gonna get zoned out a little bit.
Look at the arrow.
Down,
look at the Ash arrow.
Yeah, arrow coming on up. Is gonna hit that CC trade. That is gonna be a Zac that did not get to move for about 10 seconds straight there. But that will mean the bot lane combat power going a little bit lower. Ghost popped for both ADCs. Arrow looking for the root. Not quite gonna get that one. Mega Bro staying reasonably safe. Take a little bit of their HP off and damage, but hey, for 3 grubs, you're gonna take that trade any day.
100%. I mean, that gives them all 4 actually of the 6. They're now about to be 5 and 6. Actually, wait, they despawned, so only 4 grubs were secured.
Oh,
I was thinking 5 and 6, but it's 14 minutes now, so the grubs are gone.
Yeah, a bit of an unlucky timing there, but hey, you miss out on those, you're gonna pick up a free Rift Hero. It does look like Mega Bro gonna expend the ulti and the summoner just to keep himself a little bit safer there. Getting caught by the Zyra root. Arrow finding a good one there.
And the Rift Herald right afterwards also falls.
Yeah, I mean, one despawns, another spawns. You'll take whatever you can get on the map there. Curtain's gonna be called here. 3 and 4 hitting, but
Well,
Ash got enough HP in the tank. Not too fussed about it.
yeah, and I'm pretty impressed with Baba's aggressive playstyle here. I do think that this player is playing quite well here in this early game. Actually, the only member to not die yet for this 9-tailed Fox Chiefs team. And to see how they're able to play so disciplined now, Alvaro forcing a flash away and gets a teleport down. Tower has fallen.
Yeah, TP from both sides. First tower gold going on over. That's going to be pretty significant. Baba going to be dodging the aim down engage, but aim down staying plenty healthy enough. Ooh, a
Oh
good
my
knockback
gosh.
onto Popo.
I
Gonna
can't do damage to
immediately
him.
put a stop to that play. Yeah, and this is maybe a bit of a concern, right? I mean, Jin certainly not known for an ADC that is very good at chewing through tanks. And this Skarner gonna be pretty beefy. Even the Gragas and the J4 both going for more bruisery builds as well. So I might have some concerns about where the damage is going to come from. I mean, theoretically, maybe Yone
Yone?
is going to be more of
Yeah.
that DPS role, but he's so behind at this point, not even having a mythic or really being close to it. 1k behind his enemy laner. It's going to take a while for his damage to start coming on through.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is pretty challenging. Oh,
Ooh, yeah, a bit of a swing and a miss there for Rorschach. So gonna be a good pickup for Shanks. Zetster waiting in the bush, maybe looking for this buff contest. Gonna run into the Zac here. Does have Milio on the side. Here comes the arrow. Does end up landing on the stun, but Arrow there trying to provide some support. And this Zac is gonna be very tanky. Actually looking for a re-engage. There comes the root from the Jin. Mega Bro forced to flash out. The rest of the Reaper sent scurrying there. So a buff contest ends up blowing a bunch of summoners and ultis. Dragon coming up in just 20 seconds. So we'll see what kind of consequences that might end up having on the fight. Baba getting flashed on, dunked on, forced to flash away himself. The Zyra ulti going down. This gym very low, though, will need to reset. Aim down, maybe looking for a loop around onto Auro, who is flashless currently. And there comes the pain train, taken on down, no problem whatsoever. Jin's shots going wide right now. Not going to be landing any of them. Dragon on the map looks like they will be happy to look for that contest. Shanks in the area doesn't quite have the ulti up yet, so combat power going to be lowered quite a bit, and Dragon gets started up.
and take a look at those ultimates. No ultimates available at all, with the exception of Poo Poo on this Yone. I think it does make the 50-50 very challenging. Neither jungler actually has the upgraded smite for third dragon, which is typically the timer you want to look for. Banana just trying to walk around, maybe for a flash. No, it's
Slowly
gonna
going, but yeah, immediately going to
denied.
get suppressed and chased down by 4 members here. Can he make it out? He was taking it up earlier, but there are a lot more firepower down in this lane now. Shake's getting perilously low. Zetster on the chase does get suppressed. Auro maybe providing some DPS on the backside. A good Yone.
They can turn
here
it.
comes the re-engage from the Zac, actually, but aim down, shoving into the wall. The TP is going to be coming on in. Ash still staying alive, and now Auro caught in the middle of 3 members, certainly going to be falling there. A big contest there in the bot lane. Zac still on 1 HP, gonna try and fly on out of there, popping those Chemtech plants. Aim down on the chase. Rorschach as well. There goes the big cast. There's a small channel, and the rock comes crashing down to pick up the last kill.
So ultimately, that fight ended up resulting in a 2 for 3. Yeah, you didn't get the dragon either, but I legitimately thought for a moment that Popo might have been strong enough to actually take the fight back. They
Yeah,
ended up ignoring the blobs too.
yeah, hopeful for just one moment there. Yeah, I
Yeah.
did think that Zac went down earlier, but yeah, looks like they just ran straight past him and gave him
Yeah.
a second life. Eventually claimed it, you know. Get a
Sure.
raid check on that one, but
Yeah, we'll circle back to the blobby guy when we need him. I mean, definitely not the target of all your auto attacks, but yeah, maybe if you get the dragon as well, you're okay about it. I think ultimately, as you're looking at where item spikes are at, you're only one item on really any of these characters now, and so it's just pretty hard to take a fight when you were down that gold, especially when it's not a soul and only a Chemtech. I don't think it's too scary just to give it. Baba trading a little bit on a Rorschach here. Another arrow from downtown lands.
Arrow coming in, but no cast to follow up just yet. There it is, and there's the dunk. Arrow absolutely going to get smashed, but at what cost? That's a lot of damage coming out from the Zac. Does get suppressed, though. Going to be pulled into the middle of 5 members. Jump is not going to take him very far. Popo looking for another ulti. Is going to catch Mega Bro. Will he be able to survive? Will not be able to. The Unstoppable snaps him right back, so that's going to be a decent 1-for-2 trade there, but mid lane gonna fall down, and it looks like the Reaper's gonna continue trying to pressure down this mid lane.
Oh.
That was a hard ulti going out, but follow-up seems questionable, and Shakes now might be in danger. Popo
Maybe.
going for a bit of a knock-up. Zetzer diving in, does end up picking up another one. Popo down to 1 HP, gonna barely live by the skin of their teeth there, but the mid lane pressure here, relentless coming out from the Reapers.
Zedster also almost traded back, was sitting on under 100 health themselves. Ultimately, no continued fight beyond Shanks falling. Maybe a little bit of aggression here. You know, it does feel like it's this tempered aggression that you were naming that Ice Reapers does seem to be showing here in game number 1. It's not that there's not winning chances for Nine-Tailed Fox Chiefs, but they don't seem to be finding those opportunistic moments with how their team wants to synergize. You have huge ultimates for a 5v5 team fight, but you have to layer them really well. When I think about that, I'm thinking about things like the Strangle Thorns into the Let's Bounce from Zach, and then you throw a Fate Sealed over the top. That really needs to be your primary damage in these fights. And if you don't find critically iTunes, I don't think you're going to be able to win the fight. And I think there's just so much other displacement and threats to worry about that, like, even if you're landing these threats, you're not going to be killing a 2 item Skarner at this point.
Yeah, and it just seems like it's been a lot of almosts
Yeah.
for the Chiefs. They've just almost gotten the play right a couple of different times, but it seems like just in every instance they were just a little bit off. Jungler gonna get spotted down this bot side immediately. Gonna be Reapers calling for the Baron here, uncontested, no vision from the enemy side here. Looks like they might not even have a clue of what's going on. Jhin and Zara gonna be walking over to take a peek, but Baron
It's not
already on
fast.
its way towards half HP. Zach very, very far away here. Popo already using the Soul Unbound, not gonna be able to find him here. Will they just look for the fight instead? Auto does get dunked on, but Zester falling very low, gonna fall down there to Auro, and here comes the TP in from Shanks, but the fight is fully on. The suppress going down onto Shanks is not gonna have the flash there, but a nice re-engage from Yone picks up two. Is the Gym Bullet gonna find tools? No, not going to do so. Rorschach now getting in a bit of a scuffle with Banane, but it seems like they're gonna jump out okay. So a lot of resources expended once again. The Baron not gonna be able to be picked up, but the Soul coming up in another 35 once again, and this is going to be a pretty crucial fight.
Yeah, they took a fight with numbers, but couldn't quite force hard enough from this Ice Reaper side. Ultimately, a 3 for 2 once again. So you're not quite trading even, but the only shutdown that's still standing for Ice Reapers is on this mid and ADC. Between the two of them and an extra 1150 gold, killing either of them would be critical to the fights. But I think Zedster using the flash was pretty significant there and falling as well. This is going to be an angle that Le Bananan has to go for. You really have to try to find at least a steal, especially if you're setting up for this fight. But I think it's incredibly challenging now. But it's definitely going to be a 5v5. And I'm looking at iTunes as the primary damage dealer here in this fight for this Reaper side.
Yeah, Zester did feel like they dove in just slightly early on that last fight, taking off all their HP, trying to find the Zara pick. Was able to do so ultimately, but eating a lot of damage for it. Does look like Chiefs ready to contest
They
on
want
the
to go.
side. There goes Zach, immediately going to get suppressed in. iTunes firing for free on the side, and there's the big AoEs coming on down. Stranglethorn's going to buy a little bit of space, but Gragas on the backline providing so much distraction. It is just going to be Zarya falling straight away.
Oh
Rorschach
no.
in the eyes
He's
of the
alive.
Chiefs, but he stays alive. There comes the Chemtech. So Popo just desperately trying to cling to anything, but his soul is on the side, ready to be bopped and brought down. Zach going in for one more engage, but is the damage there? Doesn't look like it. Mega Bro offering the support with the ultimate from over the wall, and it is going to all be sunny for the Reapers there, taking a big team fight win, taking the Dragon Soul, and taking control of this game.
And taking an even bigger gold lead here too, Potato. 8,000 the difference now separating these two squads. 21-8 the score. And even without a reset, these teams are going to continue their pressure onto this Baron. We'll have to see if this means after the Baron, they're going to start trying to break open the base. Still 10 seconds on the jungler. I think any kind of contest is nearly impossible.
Yeah, I do think so too. This 5-man squad just so powerful now, and I do expect once they pick up this buff, they're going to start barreling down lane. Towers will be shortly to follow here. Just a matter of time until this Baron buff comes down. We'll see them get the resets. Going to be some pretty fearful item buys coming on through. Probably Ash picking up the Terminus on 3 items now. Skarner 3 items to not quite 2 on the Malzahar. So definitely a lot of money in the pockets of the Reapers.
And critically looking at the side of Nine-Tailed Fox, if we take a look at their ADC, right? We were worried about who's going to shred through this Skarner. You're not going to be getting through them with an IE Stormrazor. You really need that third item, Lord Doms, and we are just so far away from getting close to that third item spike. It's very, very challenging for Baba to really do enough unless these fights go 25 minutes. So it seems very challenging. I think the best you can do right now as blue team is just try to overload one lane, but otherwise these Baron minis are going to start coming in.
Yeah, and even if you do get that third item, the Chemtech enhanced shielding with the extra resistances, down at low HP. Oh my god, the Scragus damage, a little bit disgusting. Yone actually trading not too bad on the
Yeah.
backside of that one, so getting some value out of this pick, but the
Oh,
lanes are
Alro.
getting pushed. The pressure is coming in. Alro caught once again. The arrow is going to land true. Zyra immediately going to go down. Not even time to throw down that ultimate.
No
Banana
passive.
using the let's bounce, but not going to be bouncing anywhere but back to the base. Skarner there on the top side, even getting a bit of a solo kill against the Malzahar. It's a disaster all across the rift. Yone going to back with their tail between the legs. Inhibitor towers gonna start falling down here. Inhibs getting focused down. All these lanes, minions crashing on in. Looks like it is gonna be the Reapers looking for the finish.
Still a wave here, and those mites are helping out the fight, trying to get on a Baba now.
Yep, there's the flash engage. Gonna be Popo with a nice ulti to provide a bit of protection against the ADC. Zester falling down to 1 HP, but still gonna stay alive. Baba now getting charged at. Rorschach playing interference there in the front line. One more soul unbound from Popo. Not quite going to find the target that they want. Open Nexus here. They just need to hit that big blue crystal. It's going to explode. And it's a pretty convincing game 1 win for the Ice Reapers.
I would agree with you, Potato. It did feel pretty convincing. And not to say that Ninetale did not find us openings. I think there were options, there were openings. But like you had called out, it felt like it was just not quite enough. And that's ultimately what happens in this kind of draft when you're not able to really sync these ultimates perfectly together. Pretty hard to establish any kind of dominance early on. And then you just got too far behind in the mid and late stages of that game.
Yeah, eventually it was kind of uncomebackable, as they say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think early on, I mean, the ideas were not bad, and I think for the next game, really, I would just like to see a bit more kind of synchronization from
Yeah.
the squad of Ninetales. I mean. Like I said, I think a lot of their plays getting very close to working. I think if they just communicated a little better about kind of which targets they were going to go for, layer all their abilities on the correct people, could have ended up with a pretty different result. I mean, we saw a good lead coming out in the bot lane in terms of CS, a lot of very near kills, but it was just Zetster making the ganks work out a lot better, and the team fighting and execution were just a little cleaner from the Reapers. So we'll see if anything ends up getting turned around in game 2. But yeah, game 1 looking very good.
It absolutely did. And you know what else looked really good, Potato? The Skarner mid.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, hey, providing the value, got a lot of zoning off in those jungles. Getting a solo kill on Malzahar at the end there, didn't see quite how that happened, but certainly impressive. Bonking people with the heart steal,
yeah.
pretty good value.
I would agree. The value was there for sure. We'll need to see what kind of value meal can be brought back for Ice Reapers in game number 2. We're actually yet to see a 3-game series here in playoffs, and I want to get one tonight, Potato. So we're gonna have to see. Remember that both of these teams are fighting for their tournament lives here in the Demacia division. And we still got at least one more draft here. We're going to take a short break as we get set and settled for that one. And on the other side of it, we'll be in a draft for game number 2 of the evening between these two squads, Ice Reapers and Nine-Tailed Fox Chiefs. See you back here in just a moment. It's time for the draft here in game number 2 of our Demacia playoff match between Ice Reapers and Nine-Tailed Fox Chiefs. Remember, both of these two teams are fighting for their tournament lives tonight on Style Esports. My name is Llama. Back with me, as always, is AllOutPotato. And we got to see Nine-Tails Fox going all out if they want to secure an option for game number 3.
Yeah, they need this win. We want the 3-game series. Bans looking the same for the Ice Reapers. Don't fix what's not broken, I suppose. But Starter gonna be taken off the table. They said, Chef Avdao really served up a delicious dish last game. We don't want to be subject to that one again. So adjusting their draft accordingly.
I'm not surprised to see that at all. And what's not being changed at all is actually bans going into Baba. The one champion that was banned in game 1, not banned this game, was the Hui. That's a B1 response. What is Baba going to look for here in the first parts of the draft for this squad in game 2?
Yeah, we saw the Gen as an attempt last game. Didn't quite end up working out, but was a bit of a rough game state. Vigar, potentially in response to Hui, Hui could theoretically be flex support, and with the amount of draft shenanigans we saw in the last game, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if we are in for another sort of flex pick here. But Vigar tying down the mid lane, pretty solid pick. Maokai going for some good CC lockdown here.
I like the CC. I like the combination with Vigar. These are two champions that do a great job at holding space in a team fight. You throw down the baby cage, you put down that nature's grasp for Maokai, and it's so challenging for the team just to approach into you here. So Ice Reapers, I think, could do a good job at just trying to play from range or play with like a global where you don't need to, like a gangplank. But we'll see how they want to kind of play this draft later on. And range seems to be the winning answer right now for Ice Reapers. And hey, if we can't go into you, we might try to pull you into us. See, this Blitzcrank gets locked in as a B3 choice.
Yeah, Hui Jin absolutely capable of opening up from a couple different screens away. I mean,
Yeah.
Hui with that painting of
Oh,
disaster. Yeah, even the Zyra here, it does look like Ice Reapers don't want Ninetales to even come close to them. So we'll have to see what kind of a gap closer similar tools are going to be available from the rest of the draft. Because right now, this is a sort of Poke City.
is this BM? Like, to go Jin Zyra, like after you just beat a Jin Zyra, like, oh, it feels slightly BM to me.
I mean, maybe possibly, but I do feel like it thematically fits the composition. I mean, Hui is a champion that does kind of want to sit back and then land those QW pokes, and Jin Zyra both are champions that are very good at setting that up. And like I said, like I really do like this bot lane combination. I think played properly, it can get a lot of prio, it can set up for a lot of picks, just good CC, got good damage from both the AD and the support. We were told that, Ice Reapers, their support does like to play kind of more enchantery or pokey sort of champions. This does fit really well within those parameters. So I think it can actually just genuinely be a bot lane combination that they feel like is really good, and maybe that they just think they can pilot better.
All right, I'll give it to them. But if they win on the Jin Zyra too here, though, I do feel like that is quite a statement. I do want to see Ninetales Fox how they go here. I think Baba on something like a Caitlyn makes a lot of sense. Because you actually have range and even more kind of utility and zoning with those snap traps as well. Even something like a Smolder could be a late game scaling option. Something like Varus to match, right? Like that's kind of what I expect to see. And if you say enough champions, one of them's going to get locked in, Potato.
The good old shotgun approach, and I do enjoy how Blitzcrank was hovered and eventually picked up by Ninetales as well. So that was a pretty good one. I'm not sure entirely about Blitzcrank Smolder as a bot lane combination. I think Smolder gonna be slightly lacking in the damage department potentially, but I mean Jin Zyra, maybe not the most durable champion, so I could see it working out. And Sion can be locked in as some big front line for the Reapers.
Sure is, and it's also definitely not. Oh my!
All right, beats on the menu in the second half of the draft. Maybe not in the first half, but yeah, now they got the boys.
Yeah, and here's why, like that, it was such a surprise to us, as veteran league players. If you're maybe not, these are two of the tankiest champions you could pick in the last two choices here. I mean, maybe unless you go like a Cho'Gath and a Malphite or something, right? Like, I mean, basically this is as beefy as it gets in your front line. And what we talked about Ice Reapers building in their draft was long range damage. And you couple that now with a couple of big frontline tanks like Sejuani and Sion here in the top jungle. And what you expect to have as a composition is two people that can just eat all the hooks, can eat all of the baby cages. They can stand in front for the nature's grasp, and everything that Ninetales Fox is going to try to use to hold you at bay. They're going to be trying to stay pretty far away from that and able to just eat it all up. So that's what I expect to see here from these last couple of picks for Ice Reapers. And how do you shred through tanks? With an R5 Vayne, baby.
Yeah, looks like possibly Vayne top here, but I am still slightly concerned about the competition from Ninetales here because with the pickup of these two Omega tanks on
Omega
the top
tanks.
side, I mean, you just have so much frontline that can just stand here, and I don't really see how Hui Jin Zyra can really get threatened at all by the members of Ninetales without either a crazy rogue blitzrain cook or like some kind of insane Maokai flank. I mean, I don't know. It just seems a little harder for a teamfight success to be executed on the side of the Chiefs, whereas Reapers, they can just do very traditional. Plop your big boys up in front. You have damage coming out the wazoo from 3 screens away in the back, and it feels like the recipe for success is a much shorter list to be able to
Yeah,
accomplish.
but it does definitely rely on execution, right? If you don't have Sion and Sejuani with your team when you're looking to siege or play through towers, it can be an easy pick where if you grab really any of these three champions, and especially Hui or Jin, Blitzcrank lands one rocket grab onto either of those two champions, and you basically have destroyed half of the damage, right? Like it's really easy then to continue to push forward. Granted, you are very, very short range. I mean, when the longest range on your team is something like a Vayne, like that's not great. So you can't match the poke. You need to rely on a blitz hook. But like you're saying, if Ice Reapers plays front to back as standard and as carefully as it feels like they've been executing here in previous games, I mean, it can be so hard as a blitz to try to land anything onto Ice Reapers if you got a Sejuani and Sion stand in front as bodyguards.
Yeah, we talked about Ninetales, their ability to buy space for the carries with their first couple picks. I think that is going to be really important here. I think really the ways that they can succeed here is to be able to eventually get to a point where Smolder and Vayne can just really threaten the front line. And if these two Megatoms go down for the Reapers, then the back line is going to be a lot more exposed and vulnerable to anything from a Blitzcrank hook to a Flash Vigar cage to Flash Maokai engage, whatever. You have so many tools at your disposal at that point to be able to get onto the back line, but you got to be able to take down that front line first, and we'll have to see if the Chiefs carries can get to that point.
And they need to if they're going to survive here in playoffs. I mean, we're preparing our loadouts, and then we're going to get into a spectator delay. Reminder: Ninetales Fox Chiefs has to win this game to force a game number 3. Otherwise, Ice Reapers is going to take the 2-0 and advance here in the Demacia playoffs. Man, anything else to add before we jump into a quick break here, Potato?
Not yet, so just gonna have to see how the Rift matchup goes.
We will see in just a minute. Don't forget to get those channel predictions in. We are live with who will win game number 2 right now. You got to let us know with your channel points so you can take home some juicy points here at Style Esports. Or taking a short break, and we will see you on the Rift.
All right, welcome back to game 2 between the Nine-Tailed Fox Chiefs and the Ice Reapers. Chiefs fighting for survival here in the playoffs match. This is a must-win scenario for them to stay in the playoffs. Looks like already a bit of a fun level 1 play coming in from the B Blitzcrank skin. Gonna be hunting down Rorschach. Does land true on the hook. Sion starting the W. Wards go down. Gets the flash out. Does end up surviving. Just an
So
ignite burn from the side of the Blitz, but Flashless Scion could be pretty good for this lane state for the Vayne up top.
yeah, and we were just talking about here off camera as we were waiting on the spectator delay of like, what do you kind of do if you're Nine-Tail Fox Chiefs here? Because this is a must-win game if you want to stay alive in playoffs. And how do you set your team up for success in the early game? And what I was really looking at here is influencing bot lane. I mean, we saw what Blitzcrank can do with level 1. And I think if you could just leave Vayne on an island into Sion and just use that range advantage, and Maokai is able to stay bot side and actually just really influence this immobile bot lane of iTunes and Mega Bro, you can really set yourself up in these first 6 levels for success, and put Smolder at a great position to start scaling as well. Shanks again with level 6 is a great power spike timer, but I think a lot of Maokai's focus has to be on this red side bot lane early if you're going to try to secure your team victory here.
Yeah, so we'll have to see which type of pathing they end up going for. I choose a Mega Bro, playing for a little bit of a cheese play there in the bot lane, level 1 push, but Zyra Seeds kind of betraying that secrecy, and looks like nothing too much is going to be lost for Baba and Alro.
No, and we take a look at Banan's pathing here is currently spotted out on vision. So the enemy team should know where this Maokai is. And I don't like this 3 camp because this 3 camp is actually pathing you into a corner already, which basically forces Banan to gank bot here now. If blue team's been paying attention, they know that Banan is at 12 CS and bot lane now with nothing else to do. And we'll see if they respect this here because they don't have any vision past that. And it looks like Banan's actually going to get a free gank here.
Yeah, they're going to try and go for it. Flash available on all parties here. Immediately going to be going Jin. Trying to look for the flash, but oh, that's the kind of distinct play I was talking about in the previous game. Not enough patience there from Alro, or just a bit too trigger happy there from the Maokai. I mean, you do get the Jin flash, but that should have been a conversion.
It absolutely should have been. I think Alro, the goal there was, he was going to flash forward and Banan needed to wait a little bit more time because Alro thought he had to buy more time with more CC, but instead Alro flashed forward. So try to line it up on the route instead of landing it up on the push. And like you're saying there, Potato, maybe it's miscommunication. Maybe it's just being slightly off here, but this is the same kind of problem we saw in game number 1 from this team.
Yeah, it was just all those instances where the CCs weren't going on the same target, or Malzahar is ulting someone by themselves there in the mid lane, the rest of the team not quite ready to follow up. And these things will be a bit of a problem in a team comp where CC chaining gonna be pretty important here. And now Zetzer looking for a counterplay down here. Auro almost getting caught out there, 1 hit away from getting stunned up, but is going to be able to overdrive themselves out of danger. Wave looking pretty
Doomed.
potentially frozen on that side, but if the jungler's pathing away, maybe it's gonna be all right. Vigar flashless there. Shanks' flash was burned earlier by Zetzer, who's still hanging around here in the mid lane, maybe looking for some manner of play. Arrow going for hook, not quite going to end up landing. It does get rooted up himself, though. Bit of a damage being traded back onto Mega Bro. Ignites dropped from supports on both sides, but both supports going to start sprinting away, and Zetzer back for maybe the 3rd time here, still sniffing around to see if any kind of play is possible.
Yeah, Zetzer still in the area, just finishing the sequence now. I think iTunes could have kept pushing forward on the Blitz without the static field available. Could have just gone down. Poopoo actually had a health disadvantage now in the top lane. Trying to fight it out with their jungler.
Well, taking a lot of damage, though.
Minions.
Those Scion base numbers, not a joke whatsoever. Rorschach smacking a banana, the tree smacking right back. Surprised that knockup didn't actually end up going through onto the Maokai there. There is a hook onto Zetster. He's going to take a tower shot, but largely stay A-okay there. Popo narrowly dodging out on that decimating smash. Needs 1 more hit to find the passive. Gets the first blood. Nicely played there. That top lane play paying off. getting this Vayne ahead, and that's what you want to see. The lane,
Oh,
the Vayne sufficiently ahead will become a big threat there in the side lane, and certainly something that the Chiefs are going to be looking for.
yeah, wait, it wasn't clean. It wasn't pretty, but the execution was there. They do get first blood, and it is hard to fault that. Alternative Alex in the chat saying, "What is this?" This is the Demacia division here of Style Esports, and this is nine-tailed Fox Chiefs doing their best to avoid elimination. And so far, I got to give Banana some credit here for seeming to be in all these lanes early on. But now we need to get back bot because iTunes still without a flash here for a little bit of time. I need to see that being the next point of focus here.
Yeah, much more successful play for Banana in this
Oh,
second game. Ooh, Minion playing Get Down Mr. President there. But I mean, we had a great bot play, just almost barely, didn't work out. And then a pretty good top play, ends up getting the kill, ends up getting some advantage. Vayne picking up these tier 2 boots, definitely what you want to be seen on this champion. It is flashless as Zetster is in the area, but not too fussed, not too worried about any kind of threat that can come their way. Zetster getting ready to play for this first grub spawn. I'm going to see if they can pick that one up.
and
Maybe
Banana's still taking their first red buff at the game here. So we'll also be in the top side, about to spawn the second blue. But this guy hasn't even cleared the first little red bramble back now. Because of that, has to clear back down to the bot lane. And that's going to mean that these grubs are going to go to Zedster like you were calling out.
Yeah, junglers have been putting a lot of attention onto the lanes this game. I mean, neither jungler really that high up in the farm department, but perfectly okay. I mean, you're playing a couple tanks. You want your lanes to be successful. Pretty within reason.
Yeah, Popo continuing to trade back on Orsak in the top lane here. Zedster here, but not level 6.
Well,
This is
maybe
that
gonna be
1v2
in
we were talking
trouble.
about.
Good dodge on the
Goodbye.
ultimate, but too many melee champions in the area. Gonna give one kill right back over. It is traded for Dragon on the other side, so not like there's no compensation for that one. But yeah, just a bit of a pinch in terms of their positioning there. Does get run down.
Yeah, and with the grubs going down, you do have to play very carefully if you're a Popo. Does use the teleport to get back to lane as well on the top side. So Vayne is going to go just back to farming here and actually getting a little bit of a chunk, but you really don't have very many items. We talked about it for this red team, how much of this team is all scaling. But Pao Pao trying to take a 1v1 top lane right now.
Yeah, trying to get the rundown here. Almost.
Nope.
Just needs about 4 more autos, but yeah, not gonna find not gonna find the rest of those.
We'll pick up cannon for it as well.
But yeah.
Unlucky.
And that is one thing too, like these reset timers, you can trade away all the HP you want, but they're just gonna happily go back to base, pick up their items, and
this is iTunes with Flash again. Maokai is back down bot lane, but that entire 5-minute timer, Maokai didn't even sniff in the bot lane. But now they're here, not level 6 yet for Tree Man. And I don't think this play is possible, especially with summoners available.
yeah, it does look a little bit difficult. Zets are also going to be in the area. A lot of damage going on to Shanks, forcing away the flash from the Vicar. Oh, some nice follow-up there from the Hui. Getting a bit of a bully out here in the mid lane. Aim down, playing both of these matchups pretty successfully. Picking up a pretty solid CS lead here. And, 1-to-1 kills, but it's a 500 gold lead. Not too much, but still good to see.
Oh.
And Banane going for the gank, does dodge away from the fear there, and aim down gonna be the target here. There is the Vigar outplay button, does pick one up right back. So once again, Maokai finding some good jungle plays this game.
Yeah, and that's exactly that level of crowd control we wanted to see happening in the bot lane as well. I think a really good angle from Banan, forcing the flash to get the root. And then, yeah, that follow-up CC into the cage, and you have the DPS, right? Like, that's exactly what you want to look for. Baba in a little bit of trouble, but able to clear out the wave very safely by asking Mom for help.
Yeah, Mom is really just, I guess, one of the greatest wave to clear tools of all time. You can ward off dives, you can, get a fast push for good resets, and the cooldown is so low, and damage not that high, where, it doesn't really matter if you end up expending it.
And she heals you too.
It's a 3-for-1 bonus value.
Bonus
Buy
value.
now.
Buy one, get 2 free.
Yeah. It will get traded away for a few plates, though. Skarner or Smolder not feeling too comfortable overstaying there in that bot lane. So there's a Jin Zyra push coming in. Blitzcrank Roam, getting paid off by 2 plates here, picked up on the bot side. Jin finding a good CS advantage here. This time around, it's iTunes getting those extra creeps, but not to be unexpected with this matchup.
Yep.
Smolder slowly continuing to scale up.
And it is 600 gold and it's 10 minutes. And Potato, I was looking at these teams and I was like, well, of course Ninetales is better late game. And then I thought about it a little bit more, and I thought about the infinite scaling of Scion, and I thought about the Hui late game potential. Like, do you feel like this is a scale and win kind of composition for Ninetale, or is there still a world where they do get outscaled late enough in the game?
I think in terms of strict scaling, probably Ninetales do have the advantage as Shinx goes down to a great gank find in the mid lane. But yeah, I think like Smolder as a champion thematically just gets me so ridiculous that HP is something that kind of has diminishing value over time. And I think, if it goes late enough, you'll get plays potentially where Vigar can just QR a champion and
Oh,
they're erased from
wait.
existence, as Mega Bro may be about to be erased from existence down here. Stranglethorns do go in. That is a lot of damage traded on back, but not enough to get a trade kill, as the second set of grubs going to be the response from the Sejuani here for that bot lane play, but does get a good pickup. Maybe gonna pressure a few towers. Oh, power roll.
And I don't know if you saw that, Potato, but the Nature's Grasp actually also landed onto the Jhin. And instead, Alro just hooked the Zyra after that. But there was actually a look on the Jhin there too.
Yeah, I guess I didn't spot that one, so maybe they were both focused on kind of what was immediately in front of their field of vision. But you'll be happy enough with that Zyra pickup. Gonna collect the remainder of this wave. Second dragon coming on in. We'll see if the Chiefs will be able to find that one. Oh, force the flash there. These Scion E's have been actually quite accurate from Rorschach, and that's been a big help in the trades they've been looking for.
And surprisingly, this Vayne top matchup that was picked R5 in a double tank is actually losing lane.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Scion actually a pretty strong laner. The base damages are no joke, and with that armor shred coming in from the E as Shanks gets caught out once again, a little bit unfortunate.
Shanks keeps dying when we were trying to talk about the game. What's going on?
I mean, yeah, these couple makes a good hook onto iTunes, gonna force the flashback out there, but follow up just a little bit too far. Yeah, Zetzer gonna be looking for this dragon. See if it gets contested, but they lack the numbers there with Shanks going on down. So
but
looks like
iTunes lacks flash.
Yeah.
Maokai's here.
Trial, though. Well, Maokai looked for it. Seems a little bit suspicious, but
no flash
the Jhin. This is the flashless Jhin hook, just an inch or two short. There goes the Sejuani ulti, and the rest of the crew is happy to pick that one up for free.
It's just miscommunication. Like, I mean, we can't even hear the comms, but that's just what it feels like, Potato. I don't know if people are playing their own game or think, are doing things without complete information. But I mean, that just feels like this Ninetales squad just seems to be outplaying themselves a little bit tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it too is just when they don't have a clearly winning situation, sometimes just individuals get a little bit eager. Like, it felt like there was no real plan there for that dragon. They were just kind of like, well, let's walk in the area.
And we should try.
What ends up happening? Yeah, like, I mean, maybe we get a steal, but how that happens is really a question for someone else, and end up getting picked there. Whereas playing by good principles, there are the Chiefs. So Baba gonna be in trouble here. No Sejuani ulti, but there's the CC chain. Actually, iTunes taking a lot of damage, but Sejuani gonna be tanking that one up very happily. Gets another pickup, and now things are starting to fall apart a little bit. I mean, we had a pretty good early game coming out for the Chiefs here, but in this mid game, it's been a lot of success that the Reapers have been able to find back, picking up several of those picks, getting that first turret. 3-0 on the Jhin now. Maokai looking for a play in that mid lane. It's going to get the root. Is that going to be enough for the finish? Does lock them in on aim down. Looking to find a play right on back. Actually trading back a significant amount of damage. Stay safe.
And kept flash. I'm pretty impressed that Jhin did not or that Hui did not have to flash there. Like, that was really good patience to say, I don't think y'all have lethal here. Zedster down the top side does get spotted out, but there's really no play. And Potato, to go back to what you were talking about with the early game going well for them, this was a team that had the scaling. And we were talking about that and said, you're down a little bit, but if you can just sit and scale, you're going to do better late game. But it felt like these plays they're trying to make are actually backfiring. and then resulting in even more losing. Thinking about Banan going in and falling, and then Alro dying as well, allowed the dive to come into Baba, right? So it's one mistake followed by a second pickoff that is able to force a third play. And it's not major mistakes, which is, I think, why we're not focusing on it, but it's these small inconsistencies and incongruencies in this game that Ninetail Fox is starting to give up more than they really need to, it feels like, in some of these situations.
And it seems like these kind of individual errors are leading to larger problems. And we are also seeing here around all of these objectives. I mean, I think that the Reapers have had really great objective control kind of throughout this series. They're always there first. And with this kind of rangy poke kind of comp, getting that setup is so important, as Arrow now getting caught out once again, taking a lot of damage from the wave. Rift Herald is going to get picked up. Mid tower probably in their sights. Maokai getting engaged on as well, going to be immediately under danger. Baba going to try and fire back. Popo there on the backside, going to look for something, but the Strangle Thorns is good and immediately going to fall victim to some CC chaining. Zedster there brawling in the front line. Aim down, trying to find some more plays. Mega Bro getting aimed down here, but Rorschach comes in with the Scion charge and absolutely going to crush the soul of Baba there. Popo looking for one more auto attack, tumbles the wrong way, unfortunately, does not get the last of that pickup, and it is a team fight gone awry there in the middle lane. Down, getting caught by the cage, but not going to take too much punishment for it.
Just feels like a little bit of misplay and misexecution, Potato. I don't know if it's champion comfort. I don't know if it's nerves. What's going on here? But just a couple, again, inconsistencies here that I think the blue team is taking full advantage of. Alro now here forces the flash from aim down. That's a great cooldown you can try to punish again.
Yeah, it feels like just the members of the Chiefs just aren't able to finish fast enough. I mean, that play should have been good, I think.
Yeah,
I mean, Jim was top lane the whole time, was not able to join the fight. You had Vayne with a decent looking flank early on. Sion was very late to join that engagement as well. But they just couldn't find the finish. Vayne was a little bit by themselves, you know, got caught up by a CC chain. Maokai got a little caught out by the Sejuani combos off the start as well. And it sort of seemed like a team fight where each individual person was kind of getting beat down by the enemy team over and over until they just lost too much health to be able to finish things out.
Yeah, and they did kill Mega Bro, right? So, like, I can't say it's all bad, but you're right that the fight felt a little slow and there was a great response. Shanks has some potential looks with this baby cage going down. Like, if you can land someone in there, it can be scary in that event horizon, but you don't want to be hooking a Scion into the team, that's for sure. Alro now going to be in trouble, has flash available. Not anymore. But now what do you do here? Because Ghost was already used on Baba, the Dragon is up, and the Herald's in mid. Like, you're losing across the map.
Oh, and a great diversion from Zedster, too. Charging on towards Shanks and tossing that ultimate on towards Baba. Smolder, none the wiser for that one, gets another pickup. And this is going to be another Dragon. Even Hui able to TP up to the top lane to prevent that tower from falling in exchange. And it's just all going the way of the Reapers.
The entire mid game has been dominated, and honestly, I think it's off the mistakes of Ninetail. Yes, I do want to give credit to Ice Reapers for playing successfully here. For example, Zedster has found some amazing picks, it feels like, back to back to back on key targets. Shanks twice in the mid lane, this most recent time onto Baba. I mean, these glacial tombs are feeling like glacial prisons now. It's like so hard to get out of if you are either of these immobile carries, especially without committing a 5-minute cooldown with your flash. And that Yordle in the mid lane just really only has one mode, and it's to hold space and to scale. But scaling's starting to slip away as we're seeing 2 dragons now claimed and 7,000 gold separating these 2 squads.
Yeah, 7,000 in 19 minutes is pretty brutal. And it also feels like, you know, Reapers are getting away with things that normally shouldn't be possible. I mean, they're at the Dragon fight, they had 2 members holding space, 2 members playing for that mid tower, kind of doing 2 things at once, but not able to be responded against. You had Vayne trying to trade back in the top side, but off the back of that winning team fight, even that was able to be responded to. So it just feels like the Chiefs are kind of struggling to find any sort of win in these kinds of engagements.
And so I'm thinking, what's the win for them, right? Like, how do they start winning? And I'm looking at items. I mean, we're only 1 item for any carry right now. They need, I would say, 3, right? Like, I think you start winning fights at 3 items. If Vayne can have 3 items, if this Vigar can hit 3 items, if Smolder gets 3 items, I would give them a good chance of winning. I think the scary part of that is we're 15 seconds until the Baron spawns on the map, and I don't think that we're going to see Ice Reapers give them the chance to scale to 3 items.
Yeah, it just feels like the game has been accelerated a little bit too much out of control here. I mean, when carries and tanks are kind of on even numbers of items, it's already, a bit of a challenge to take them down. But when these two frontliners are one full item up on your carries, it is a dire situation to try and get through them. We talked about how it's going to be really important to be able to chew through this front line. It just doesn't feel possible at the current state of the game.
And one champion that does like to chew is this Smolder. That dragon is trying to get to those critical dragon soul stacks. The dragon's practice is only at 162, with a reminder that 225 is that key number.
Yeah, Arrow getting caught out here once again. Looks like the Reapers are just happy to take fights against anyone that just shows up on their screen. Someone appears, boom, they're going after them. And here we go. The Maokai getting CC chained, can't even take that enhanced blast cone. It's just a tragedy to behold there. iTunes taking a little bit of poke from the Vygar, but the damage, just the Seraphs, is not enough. They started the Baron on spawn. They're coming right back towards it. They want to secure that early bird. Maybe not quite enough time for that one, but still 21 minutes, you're going to take it.
Yeah, it's not the fastest Baron, but with the plants available in a fourth shot, it will go down on a couple of rotations from Hwei. And like you're saying, after getting the picks, there's really not too much to be done about it. Still 5 seconds that Maokai's still in the death chamber.
Yeah, trying to find a pick onto aim down here.
They
The
got him.
Stranglethorns is
No.
so good, though. Finds everybody and aim down, even
Oh.
continuing to live for way longer than they have any right to. The Baron is going to get picked up. Popo trying to find something, but it's a 1v4 there, and I don't like those odds. Rorschach charging up in front, ready to provide presence. They're going to base with 4 Barons. They're going to start cracking open the rest of these towers.
And a 2-for-1. So yes, you got the Baron. You got 2 picks to start, another 2 picks there. And now we're seeing this Baron claimed. We're going to have to see what happens now on the Rift as we see a Dragon in 90 seconds. It will be another Chemtech back-to-back souls. They already have one of those in their pocket. And lots of standing gold on the map. Only 3 towers claimed so far versus 0 for the side of this 9-tailed Fox Chief squad. And with Baron buffs, if you just send members to a single lane, you can start getting all of these inner towers. But the squad, I don't know why we're looking at Mega Bro and base. Okay. That's a little interesting there, but it does feel like the squad does not seem too committed to overloading in any one lane at this point. Just happy to bounce waves back, it feels like. And I mean, this is where you want to see a Baron buff used effectively, and we can still be critical of Ice Reapers because you have a huge buff for your minions and your damage. And it feels like iTunes is really the only one in this mid lane right now. And so it looks like they're just going to crash waves until this dragon spawns.
Yeah, I would have liked to see much more synced base timers and a synchronized push because these tier 2s, they're worth so much money. You can really, I mean, not that the game isn't already blown open, but you can really further blow things open with the acquisition of these 3 inners. And looks like they're finally going to make this push start to happen. The wave clear, not there, but yeah, Rorschach already in the fray, and oh my gosh, I don't know if that was a tank Maokai, but it certainly didn't look like it on my screen. Arrow going for a hook, not going to hit, is going to get rooted up instead, almost going on down, but there's the unstoppable charge coming on in. The curtain call is live, trying to find the snipe. Is the
got
going to hit? Yeah, it is. Straight off screen to Shanks in danger. Rorschach happily taking up about 30 different turret shots. Not going to be fussed about that whatsoever. Taking up the Vade as well. Just not giving a care in the world about any sort of damage that might come on through. Sure, they go on down, but at what price? Baba going to be running off for their lives. I think Maw might not be enough. I think he needs to call about 5 ancestors of dragons to be able to get out of this situation. Gonna base, but inhibitor is gonna fall down. They're gonna sprint straight towards the dragon, pick up that 3rd one, and base already starting to fall apart.
Yeah, this 3rd dragon will be even this victory prize as they're leaving the base in shambles. Only the 1 inner tower, but got an inhib too. Couple extra kills to pad the stats. Vayne sitting 3-3-1 on 2.5 items. This might be your saving grace if you can keep the game going. And honestly, super minions still crashing in. And so there is a little bit of a timer. I'm asking for some smolder stacks as well. If we're talking about timers, this guy's on 223 stacks. 2 more stacks away from getting that execute. Remember, it is nerfed execute, but it's an execute nonetheless. That's going to start executing, I believe, at couple of % damage, and does have it now. So Baba has a chance to start executing as well on Smolder. the timer's ticking. And if you're Ice Reapers, you got to keep the pressure up because you can't let these waves just get farmed up for free for the Nine-Tailed Fox side.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's 2 minutes until the Baron spawns, so these mid waves might end up giving them a bit of a farm advantage. We do have Vayne still pushing up on that side lane, maybe looking to get a tower before the rest of the Reapers come crashing in to open up the rest of the base. This tier 2 tower looks quite difficult to hold, so probably going to be giving that one up. Trying to trade one up in the top side, but Vigar again getting caught by this Sejuani engage. Zedster's ultimates have been on point this game. The hook from Blitzcrank narrowly missing, and there comes Sion charging in on the side. Vayne going to be very far away from this fight. Banana does dodge out on one shot with the twisted advance. Rorschach under some pressure though. Will the burn come on through? Does end up getting the execute, but Arrow going to be under pressure. Does die to the zombified form of the Sion Mega Bro, limping away on 1 HP. But the other 3 members continuing their push on towards this inhibitor, unstopping, relentless, looking for another pickup here. It is just 2 carries trying to hold their space here. We'll slowly clear out the minions, but Jimpo going to continue coming on through. The range is just really high. I mean, just really short range here. Vayne looking for the chase here. It is going to be a 2v3 briefly on this fight. Zetzer going on down. Does get the shutdown. Two's going to get burned down as well. Aim down. Barely missing out. Force the flash away. And it is Popo there. Oh my gosh. Oh, the Comet. The Horizon Focus. Getting the pickup on that backhand. But almost a hero play from the carries of the Chiefs.
Almost seems like the name of the series here, Potato. Almost is really where Ninetales has been. I mean, and they're almost at the point that they can start scaling. We're almost to that death cap. 2 items completed on Smolder and 3 for Vayne with that Terminus completion here in the death area now. So when they spawn and coming out of base, we'll have that 3rd completed item. I mean, it's close, Potato. I really think it is. Even though the gold lead is showing 10,000 separating these squads, you will be able to fight these team fights more and more and more as the game continues to progress. 6.5% total health get executed by Smolder. That's nothing to shake a dragon stick at, you know?
Yeah, certainly not. And we do have some good item breakpoints coming in. Terminus is going to be really big. The decap was finished for the Vigor. Yeah. There's the RFC. They're in for the Smolder. So, you know, if they execute these team fights correctly, if they find the right targets, they can make things work. But this Baron looks like it's going to go down. And with the lack of wave clear for the Chiefs, I'm a little concerned about what that can entail. Looks like they might actually want to contest this one. It's going to be difficult. Mom goes on first, but the Smite is stronger. There's the Twisted Advance, but not going to catch all that much. And 2 big tools expended for no gain here. 2 inhibitors down as well for this Baron push. Looks like there's not even going to be a reset in the books, as immediately the Reapers going to look towards this top lane. They want to crack the last of the towers, the last of the inhibitors. And you get triple inhib down with Baron minions, and game is as good as over. So there will have to be some sort of attempted hold here at the last vestiges of the base. There goes
that's one ultimate down.
Flies wide. The strength hook doesn't quite land. There's a main stun. Zetzer forced the flash on away, but there's huge damage answered on back. There's a Scion charge as well, and Popo goes down. That's such a crucial member for the Chiefs. Can they hold with the remaining 4? Rorschach looking for it. The CC chain goes down, and I am afraid that might be the beginning of the end. Scion taking the base, surely going to TP back with full HP. The last inhibitor, just 1 auto away, does end up falling. Here are the cannon minions. They're going to start crashing. Scion TPing in on the other side.
This is it.
Super minions on both sides. Zetzer starting to engage off. There comes the Jin snipe. 1 falls. The second soon to follow. Baba trying to run away, trying to clear these minions, but they are so many enemy members, so much blue on his screen. Mom is not going to be enough. This poor little dragon try to clear things off, but going to take 1 more gray screen as the Ice Reapers, a 2-0 victory here. Pretty convincing gameplay from them, continuing their play through the lower bracket.
They continue their play through their lower bracket, and they will survive for another day. It was pretty convincing, I think, at the end here, Potato. Really impressive to see how this squad came together for the Ice Reapers. I mean, I wasn't honestly counting out Nine-Tailed Fox Chiefs until literally the Nexus exploded, because they were just getting to that critical item spike. But ultimately, the better team on the day definitely was this side of Ice Reapers.
Yeah, I think that Vayne pick there at the very end hurt them so much. The front line just couldn't buy enough space. Blitzcrank wasn't quite able to find the value. And yeah, Ice Reapers just looking out like the stronger team, more coordinated, better execution, better positioning for the objectives, and just better team play. So well played to them. Congratulations for moving on. And nice contests from the Chiefs as well. Did look like they had winning chances a couple times, but just a little bit shy of closing it out.
Yeah, a little bit shy for closing. This is a best of 3 double elimination, so unfortunately, we do say goodbye to Nine-Tailed Fox Chiefs here. This was the team coming in at 11th out of the 12 possible qualifying teams, so by no means an upset. Ice Reapers was the number 3 seed going into playoffs here, and so on paper and as we saw tonight, this was the team that we expected to come out on top, and come on top they did. It's their road's not over though. They're still in the knockout stage, living their last life. They will actually be playing the loser of Stunned Gaming University versus LC Kodiak's Power. That should be getting played this week as well. And we'll see what this number 3 seed can do as the playoffs continue. Because this level of performance, I think, could carry them very far here in the playoffs of the Demacia division here in Style.
Yeah, it did look pretty convincing. So best of luck, on their next week matchup. And for all of you at home, thank you so much for joining us. It was great to return to the cast, and hopefully we'll catch you around soon.
Take care.